Everything beats a zero.
We make everything look good, including being overweight. So, scientifically, you cannot drink alkaline water and it makes your cells alkalytic.
The closer you are to nature, the healthier you'll be.
All right. Happy Saturday, everyone. I am Carolyn, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Thank you all so much for joining us. As you're coming in, go ahead and share the live so others can be a part of the conversation. We have a great conversation going on today, so please go ahead and make sure to share the live, okay? We are talking about the discovery of GLP-1. Now, we know it's been in the news and everything else, so here we go, right? Scientific intention behind GLP-1. Also, the pros of GLP-1 physiology and therapeutic, and also the cons of GLP-1 physiology and therapeutics. Last but not least, GLP-1, powerful tool, not a replacement for lifestyle. So we're going to be talking about all those things today. Dr. Zarif is going to break it all down to us, you know how he does. Okay, so make sure to share. Again, share, and drop in the comments. Let us know that you are there. All right, Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get started. Hello and grand rising to you.
Grand rising to you, Carolyn. It is great to be here with you. Carolyn, not Caroline. And
Yes.
I know that the name thing is something. Just imagine having a name, Farid Zarif, or the brother other names that African, people just aren't used to them, and sometimes I just think that they start off not really being interested in something new. I don't know. But anyway, what here today, we're here to really talk about something that is a subject that is quite popular, and that is the GLP-1. And do you believe it? Or do you not? How do you feel about it? Well, let's see if we can get together on some of those things. I want to welcome, we have people from really wonderful people from Chicago now that are listening, and welcome. We also have new people from Detroit. Welcome all the Detroiters here today. And we also have people in Philadelphia, which are also building. I love it. I love the numbers going up. And I love that you are making wonderful comments, and we offer you a chance to make your comments in the comment space as we are going to be talking about some things that may not ring with you at first, but remember, it's all of this is about learning, taking small steps as we go along, and to get to understand exactly what we're faced with. First of all, I know that I am very happy to say that as far as the GLP-1 is concerned and all the weight loss, especially when it comes to obesity, I really feel that we're doing, or at least GLP-1 is doing, what it is intended to do. However, the things that I think about on the other side is when we become extreme, when we overdo it, and there are a lot of people that are supporting GLP-1 because it's doing what it is intended to do. People for the first time have their weight down. They also have lower or more normalized blood pressure. The sugar is also normalizing. We also have people that can, for once, sleep without sleep apnea. We have people that can work out now. They're not carrying all the extra weight on their joints. So there's a lot of wonderful things. Some people, even as far as respiratory system goes, wow, what a relief for many people today. So there are many things that are really beneficial by taking GLP-1s. But the question is, what does it look like as we move farther into the future? And I want to say that I still am not relaxed. I am still not comfortable, although many things I do see that are turning out really wonderful for those people that have suffered so long, and now there's a solution. We'll talk more about that as we go on, but for right now, I want you to take a look at this.
I'm on row, 34 pounds down on GLP-1s. Healthier on row. Supported on row. FDA approved GLP-1 options. Now even in a pill. Weight loss expertise I trust. I'm moving better on row. I'm feeling better on row. I'm Serena Williams. This is me on row.
110, take one.
What would you say to people who think GLP-1s are cheating?
Cheating? That's just stupid. You wouldn't tell them not to see a psychiatrist, would you? You wouldn't say, tough it out, handle it yourself. Anything at your disposal that can help you from a health standpoint, you should use it. I've heard that criticism, but I just think it's stupid. Because like I say, everybody is built differently. Some people have gotten hurt and can't exercise. Some people like food. Some people are like, listen, I like food. But if that's the beauty, if people think it's cheating, they don't have to do it. It's up to them. But I'm going to do anything that I can to be healthy. Like, I've been a stud before. I used to run 5 to 10 miles and lift weights and run for up and down the court for 3 or 4 hours a day. I've done that when I was 20 to 38. I think I played in the NBA. I can't do that now. So, if I could do that, I wouldn't do it. I'm not gonna lie, because I got tired of doing it. But anything that anybody can use at their disposal to help them be healthy, that's not cheating. That's just common sense.
Well, that's what we heard. Those are people that we know, and isn't it surprising that they're using celebrities?
Hmm.
You know, and of course I'm being sarcastic, but those are the also the modern doctors of today. Those celebrities, they when something that we want to understand better, they'll use celebrities to find out what they're thinking, why they think that they're thinking. Also, how if a celebrity which is rich and well known and attractive and all of those other attributes, then they'll say, and now when I say they, I'm talking about those people that produce these particular products, and the things that we have. We don't know when things are coming out, what has been studied, what works, what doesn't work, and all that. So it is very important that we find out what are we putting into our bodies. Can we trust it? And how do we know that the science is what is called true science?
Mm.
So we have, go ahead, Karen.
Well, no, because true, because you have other drugs that kind of done the same thing, right? Been introduced to the public, saying that it's safe, and people rush to get it, and then find out, 10, 15, 20 years later that there's something wrong, and there's like a action lawsuit. Uh, Anyone that's taken this drug, you may be compensated with whatever. So it's kind of gives that same thing because looking at, I know Oprah, I don't think Oprah came out and said that that's what she's using. the GLP-1s.
Yeah.
But I think that because we now know that that's what a lot of celebrities have been using for weight loss, I'm sure she's in that mix. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's true. Okay, so Oprah, don't come for me. I just put her out there because I know that she's been one of the celebrities that she's had her weight loss journey, weight gain up and down all the time. But now we see that she's pretty much been keeping that weight off. And she hasn't really said what it is, but because we know that GLP-1 is out there and a lot of celebrities have been using it, um, that can possibly be something that she's been using. I know that the Osbourne wife, what's her name? I forget her name. Ozzy Osbourne's wife, Sharon, I think it is, Osbourne. I remember you mentioned, what was it, the Grammys that just recently passed like 2 weeks ago or so, seeing her on screen and she looks like a skeleton, you know, and her daughter, same thing, have that same hollow like look in their faces. So it's kind of like, wow, kind of take a step back and think about what this is doing, making it available to the public is even a more dangerous kind of thing if we don't know exactly what it's capable of. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. It's, you made some really valid points. And again, remember that, well, if these are celebrities, so if the celebrities come on, just like we just saw with Serena and we saw Chuck, and when they're talking, they have a lot of power and they know they have a lot of power. When
Yes.
people see what they're doing, it's like, oh, I'm doing that because I remember him being really big and look at him now. Or I remember when she was, whatever she looked like and look at her now. So a couple of things. One thing that we're definitely, I think our thoughts, our imagination, our perception is saturated with, many things that are just simply fabricated by society for us to look a certain way, for us to
Mhm.
move a certain way, for us to eat a certain way. Think about it. Everything that the way that we look, what we wear, what we eat, where we go, how we speak, all of those things, many of which have been programmed. We speak according to the latest information in the programming. There's very few people when people get older, and then it's like they have more knowledge. They get usually they're wiser and
Mhm.
they see things differently. But many of our ways, our behaviors are based on those things that we are programmed with and by. So we talk about some of the things that perhaps, if you, Carrie, did you want to retort?
Well, there was one thing too that, as far as Serena, I don't recall, and I know we don't see everything that a celebrity goes through, but I don't recall seeing her ever being so overweight. She's always been athletic. If anything, her body has been the body that people be like, "Oh, I want," like her body type. As athletic, she's built, the way that men like and
Mhm.
women would like to look like. So again, yeah, I've never seen it as it being something where she would need to go to GLP-1. However, I do, from doing some research and information, know that her husband, he sits on the board of the GLP-1 that she promotes. So, that's also something that comes into play whenever we're talking about Serena and matching her up with Roe, which is the GLP-1 that she's promoting. So that's another thing too that you have to keep in mind. What's in it financially for the celebrities that you see, that may be promoting that product.
And the thing is, really, the bad thing that I see about it, I understand like losing weight. Yeah, it works. It's almost with a grain of salt. Well, it is with a grain of salt. You know why? Because when people actually find something that works, they tend to get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to get careless,
Yes.
ruthless,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll use these different um, chemicals, these medications, the drugs that are on the market, and again with the latest programming. When you want to see the latest program, all you have to do is pay attention to what people are saying, and that is the latest programming. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I think these different trends are so powerful, and they move through society, and they change people, masses of people. When we talk a certain way, our temporary vernacular, what we say on the street, our street talk, our home talk, around the buddies talk, all of that. And the same thing happens when it comes to health. What is the latest that's happening with health? So one of the things is still trending and probably won't ever stop trending, are or is those women with big behinds. And I dare to say that there are men also. There's, for instance, instructors, like fitness instructors, guys with big bottoms or a big butt is something that people are fascinated with, big behinds. And when it comes to women with big behinds, for many years, remember a skinny leg woman? You probably don't remember that because you're younger and in a different generation. But there was a guy named Joe Tex, and Joe Tex, for the older people, Joe Tex, he made a song about the skinny leg woman, and he always talked about the big leg woman and compared
Mm-hmm.
the two. And many people, you always see in, like, you can really see it in videos. Uh, Videos aren't made as much as they were in the past, but those different pop that coochie and all that other stuff. I mean, it's like, you got children looking at that in the very early ages. They start talking like that.
Mm-hmm.
They see these women, young women, that are exposing. I mean, they just right there on the cusp of just one more little, just a micro inch. It'd be called It's like soft porn.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if we can make some sense out of some of the things that we're dealing with on a daily basis. And keep in mind, like, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying this, or I'm thinking, Kara, is either we're not talking about, hey, we're giving you some reasons to take this. We want you to think about it, especially when we're talking about extremes. That's the biggest
Yeah.
problem. One of the extremes you can, as an example, are the different commercials right now, of different medications. One of the things that all of them are selling is happiness, big smiles. They'll tell you while they're uh, narrating the particular commercial, they'll also show you somebody that's smiling. They look like they're in love. One is pedaling or stroking the oars, and
Paddle. Yeah.
say, yeah, and they're telling you that, hey, you know what, if you have herpes, it's no problem. If you have this or that. And what happens is people get negligent. They don't, it's like, I'm not worried about it. So they continue, even if they're out spreading this bacteria or this disease, they continue doing that, knowing or feeling that they can trust that medication will make it all go away. And that's simply not true. So we want people to be responsible for and to make better decisions when it comes to GLP-1s, as we do with any other thing that we suggest for you to ingest. So why don't we stop right here? And we always stop to say hello to the people that are here with us this morning. Carrie, you want to go ahead and give some shout outs?
Absolutely. Hello, yes, Shirley Gentle Smart saying happy Saturday to you. Happy Saturday.
Woohoo.
Good morning, Darcel. Welcome in, and happy Saturday to you as well. Allison Gentle, how are you? Good morning.
Woo.
Good morning. Good morning. You found us. Last week it was a task.
Yeah.
But yes, Darcel says GLP equals gonna lose pounds. I don't know about that one. Is that what it means? Probably not. But either way it goes, it seemed like it would match up to those letters, right?
Oh,
Um,
he's I'm sure he's just playing it. It means
yeah.
glucagon like peptide, but we'll talk about that later.
So there you go. There you go. Michelle Franklin, hello,
Woohoo.
Grand Rising to you. The name of the song or that you were talking about is "Who Want the Lady with the Skinny Legs?"
Yes. Oh yeah. Thanks, Shell. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, who want the lady with the skinny leg?
And she says, "I remember that song because I had the skinny legs."
Yeah. I was Shell. So Shell, would you put in the comments too? What do you think about this GLP? What are you feeling about it? It'd be good to hear from you, and like to invite everybody else to make some comments
Mhm.
because that's really give us a good idea of what you're thinking.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so
All right.
let's go ahead and get with this. First of all, the glucagon-like peptide, as we've been speaking about, is a biologically active incretin. Like it's kind of a hormone that's derived from a pro-glucagon gene. So I'm not going to get. There's a lot of big words that perhaps you haven't heard, and write those down, and you can do your due diligence on it. But particularly the incretin effect, I want you to just keep that in mind because as time goes on, you'll hear more about it. It's a phenomenon observed in the mid 20th century in which the oral glucose elicited a greater insulin response than the intravenous glucose. And glucose, again, is the blood sugar. And despite the identical plasma glucose levels, this discrepancy implied the existence of gut derived factors that potentiate insulin secretion. So, all of that, if you get all that, great. If you didn't get all that, just stay tuned because we're going to break all these things down. First of all, we'll start. One of the things that's very important is what role the physiological role that's played. GLP-1 functions as a incretin hormone, or a hormone, meaning that it enhances the glucose dependent insulin secretion. Now, as we read on, there are things here that you might want to again write down if you are or have been thinking about you're going to use GLP-1. It's great to know more about his actions that's mediated through the GLP-1 receptor. So you'll have a better idea about the pancreatic beta cells, the central nervous system, the gastrointestinal tract, cardiovascular tissue, the insulin gene transcription. These are things that are probably over most people's heads, but I'm saying them because you can take your time to understand more about the different class B and G protein coupled receptors and how they're expressed. And that's will give you a good idea why this works so well. Now, it's easy for us to go on and to just say, well, the stuff that you take a syringe and then you shoot up with GLP-1 and then the weight goes away. But the important thing to know is not so much just the knowledge, because many times especially when it doesn't work, we start off, remember fen-phen, remember Redux, remember those particular medications. They worked as far as losing weight, but the downsides were greater than the benefit with most people. So now it's illegal. And now it's prohibited. So it's time for something else to come out. People have been waiting for this for a very long time, and it seems to me, might be just me, that people want the cake and eat it too, so to speak. They want to have the drug, but they want to keep eating very irresponsibly. They want to keep, if they have any types of problems, they want to have the um, I guess the option of taking something that will make that better. So we have to look at the scientific intention behind the discovery, and the GLP-1 was not accidentally. Um, it didn't really come about accidentally. The sequence of the mechanism investigation spanning endocrinology and peptide chemistry and metabolic physiology. So there's a lot to it, and that is really important for us to know. Like, what is it, and what is its purpose? Understanding the incretin effect, the researchers actually they sought to identify the gut-derived signals that explain why the oral nutrient intake stimulates the disproportionately greater insulin secretion that the parenteral glucose administration exemplifies. Early candidates that include the gastric inhibitory peptic, or the GIP, but the GIP alone do not fully account for the incretin effect. Now, the molecular cloning, I'm not going to get into all that, because I don't want to um, um, lose anybody on this. I want to keep it as simple as possible. But some of the other things that are important to know is like the therapeutic implications of diabetes, for instance. Like, once the GLP-1s, um, glucose dependent uh, insulinotropic effect. See, these are just things that you will never hear on TV, because they'll just have people say, hi, I'm so and so, and this is what I put in my body, and look at my body now. And you can do it too. But they don't tell you things about the therapeutic rationale that's grounded in several features of this GLP-1, such as the GLP-1 enhances the insulin secretion only in the presence of elevated glucose, reducing hypoglycemia risk. And the hypoglycemia or hypoglycemic risk is, again, the amount of sugar that's in your blood. It suppresses the inappropriate glucagon secretion. It slows gastric emptying, reducing the post uh, uh, um, prandial, I'm not saying that right, but the glucose spike. So that simply just means in your digestive system, the emptying is slowed down, that it interrupts some of your normal physiology, those normal functions in your body. And it's really up to you to make a decision whether you want to take that risk or not. Whatever you put in your mouth, the risk is really important, or the idea or the knowledge of the risk is important, because some things simply just increase the risk of injury, and others reduce the risk of injury. Now, if you want to look a little farther in some of the inhibitors and receptor uh, the and God, I can't. This is what is it? I can't read. I'll come back to it, but there are other parts of this rapid degenerative biochemistry instabilization. And I think that those are some of the things that, as you continue to do your due diligence, you will come across, because there are even for me and many other doctors, especially if this isn't your specialty. There are so many things that you're like, what? And we have to, of course, do the same thing you're doing, and that's our due diligence. Although initially the characterized as a glucose regulatory hormone, GLP-1 has broader physiological roles like the neural protection and the appetite regulation, the cardiovascular modulations, the anti-inflammatory signaling, and potential effects of the hepatic uh, uh, steatosis. And all of that has um, uh, or gives you the expanding insights of some of the shifting of the GLP research from the narrow endocrine logical focus to a system or systems levels metabolic and neural hormonal framework. So all of this again is blah 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 until you take out time to find out more about your GLP-1 and the 30 to 31 amino acid incretin peptides. All of this, I'm saying it perfectly, or differently, or I'm saying it in a way that it is a little confusing, because that's what all of this is, a very complicated and complex medication, and you should hear it that way so that you'll know that it's not just about like throwing some gum in your mouth and you chewing it and you chew all the sugar out of it and then you get a couple more chews and you spit it out. This is something that can change your body in a real drastic way. So that's why we get into the uh, physiological and the physiology and therapeutics. And earlier you heard Carolyn mention this particular group or category, and it just means that it's the blood sugar dependent insulin or glucose independent insulin secretion. Low risk of hypoglycemia compared with insulin, for instance. And these things, especially for those of you with diabetes and other metabolic uh, disorders, this is really good to know. As we go along, we find out more and more information. Some of the pros of the GLP is would be that I'll start off with suppression of the inappropriate glucagon secretion. So this is all about it reduces it's reduced fasting and the prandial I don't feel feeling I said it wrong, but the glucose levels, they actually improve the glycemic stability, and that just gives you the normality of the amount of sugar that's in your blood. And of course, we want to be between somewhere 60 and 100 there. So when you're taking your a prick, or if you are taking some of your glucose or from a glucometer, you want to make sure that you're within that 60 to 100. And these are things that people haven't done yet. And that's all of this is even before GLP-1. And people still haven't done things, the simple stuff like your blood pressure, like you're taking your sugar, your hemoglobin A1C. All of these are things to help you to be healthier. Now, I know you see everybody, the rich people, these wealthy people, the ones that have a lot of money. They're the first ones to get it. They use it, and then if it becomes very popular, the companies make a whole lot of money. It's the same circle, but we want to also know that how it helps, what would happen over the time, especially the cardiovascular benefits. There's large outcome trials that show the reduced major adverse cardiovascular events. Okay, that's and this is in high risk patients. The mechanisms include the reduced systemic inflammation, improved endothelial function, modest blood pressure reduction, not too much, but it does give you some, and then your weight mediated metabolic improvements. Um, the potential neuroprotective and anti-inflammatory effects include emerging research that suggests that GLP-1 signaling may reduce the neuroinflammation, and that just simply means inflamed nerves. And if you have that problem, that can definitely set a very disturbing experience as far as injury to your nervous system, central nervous system, and all the other segments of the nervous system. It can also improve the mitochondrial function, and that we know that's where we get the energy from our cells, and then decrease the oxidative stress. And everybody wants that because that we want to make sure that we don't get prematurely older. We want that. We want to slow that down as much as possible. I'm going to take a break here, and we're going to come back with the cons of GLP. We just talked about the pros, but also let's talk about the cons. So, Carolyn.
Yes, thank you so much for that breakdown, Dr. Zarif. I really do appreciate it. Hello, everyone that is watching. We are live streaming on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and on Instagram. We are talking all things GLP-1, pretty much, right? So, again, thank you all so much for joining us. Michelle Franklin responding to the question as far as what her thoughts were about GLP-1. And let me see. Let me go ahead and show it here. That'd be better. It says, for those that truly need it, it's helpful. It's not easily obtained through your MD because you have to have a certain body fat mass index before your MD and your insurance would even consider you for it. And that is why most folks get it online or on the streets, so to speak, and those are dangerous. And she goes on to say, I was just diagnosed with being borderline diabetic, and it was recommended for me because of my family history and such. I heard that it slows down the digestive system as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you very much, y'all. That was awesome. Yeah, so I'm glad that we actually that Michelle shared that with us, because remember, if you remember, a lot of people when we ever since we've been talking about being overweight have used different chemicals at any cost, and they'll use this stuff, but in the long run, what happens is that there's never a convenient time to die.
Mm.
You know, there's never like a convenient time to be sick. So when people have the idea that, oh, I'm not worried about it, I just want to have fun while I'm young, I'm still going out, I'm still doing this, probably it's no big thing, because whatever is the latest thing, like the big behinds, you get the big breasts. That was a thing at a time. It still is. It depends on what does your community look like. I mean, like the people in your community, yours, not just any community, and you'll find that is the dictation of the way that you feel about yourself, and what you put into your body, what you're taking. All of those things should come along with some knowledge about it. But keep in mind also, it's not just about knowledge is necessary, but knowledge isn't sufficient. And what I mean by that is, if you want to take certain medications and you really want that, and it really is something that you're connected with. Ooh, if I take this, I'll look better. Ooh, I get more attention. Oh, people really think that I'm fine, or I would, it might be I feel better, or I'll have a lesser chance of contracting certain diseases. It can be many things, but the thing that I warn you, and I don't hardly ever do this, but this is a warning, is make sure you're clear about what you're putting into your bodies, because it is getting more and more popular. At first, there were a couple of things that were out there: Ozempic, Wegovy, and so a few more, and now it is, man,
Right.
it's huge. I mean, this trending, and you have when you tell people that you using or you are taking a certain medication, they are it's the latest thing. So it's not like, I don't want to let anybody know. And that's why we talking about the celebrities earlier. You got celebrities that you've never seen small before, but
Hmm.
now they're small, and that's I would go through a name of them, but I'm sure that they're dealing with their portion of people that are talking about them now. But I'm saying to you that are listening, make sure that you are making very safe um, selection, or safe decisions, or safe choices when it comes to yourself. Now, we also want to talk about what else can you do instead of this. Is there something else you can do besides the GLP-1, or should we just everybody just say no, GLP-1 is the stuff? Care?
Well, I mean, I would say that what you've been teaching on, which is the eating healthy, resting, exercising, it always goes back to the natural way, in my opinion, to be the way. Um, See, and it's and that gets a little I don't know, a little strange sometimes, because it's you never say that you want you never say that it should be the way. It is a way. You know what? It's
Yes.
another way for you to be able to do it.
Right.
So if you ask me, my choice would be to do it the natural way. There it is.
Very cool. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, kind of, I'm gonna look at it like this: those people that are sick, especially when you see people that are obese and they're like 400 pounds and over. I mean, people that are more morbidly obese, and it helps. You see, you need an end plan. What is the closing date for that? When you take it so long, but when do you get off of that?
Yeah.
If people are just taking it and there's like, I'm just going to do this forever, this is me for the rest of my life, uh, are you probably going to run into a lot of really big, important, major snags?
Hmm.
But when it comes along to taking any medication, it should be a start date and it should be a end date.
Right.
you know
Yes.
what is that? How does that look for you? As we were speaking about earlier, about people that, and even Charles Barkley said the same thing, is like people have different bodies. Yeah, in general we do, but we know that we have different bodies. But if everybody in the bar is drinking whiskey, most of those people are going to be drunk,
Right.
eventually. If they got different systems and all that, but if you take people in the room, and then all of them have cigarettes, and there's somebody in there is going to increase their chances for throat cancer or some type of cancer and
Yeah.
all the other things that have been proven. So that's what we're saying when we're talking about GLP.
Right.
I want to stop just for a second, because I don't want to forget this. Happy African American History Month. This is our 100th year,
Yes.
and we have a lot of incredible Black folks that make a difference in the world.
Mhm.
And I am very proud to be what I am. And I love that we have a month that we can talk about what the contributions that Black people have made to the world.
Yeah.
So I wanted to stop to say that.
Absolutely. And let me go ahead and just go in the comments really fast and just check out and see what the people are saying.
All right.
Let's say here, Darcel said, no investment surpasses our health. Therefore, we must exercise caution in our approach to investing in it. And that is by unknown. Thank you so much
Nice.
for that. I appreciate that. Devin, hello to you. Welcome. Welcome to the Mind of Nature. We are here every Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's see here. Michelle Franklin says, I had a coworker tell me that she went to pick up her GLP from someone's home. I was shocked. The natural way is the only way and best way. All right, there it is. And thank you so much. I appreciate your feedback on that. Let me see here. Hey, Yolanda Rogers. Good morning and blessings to you. Thank you always for always being a great supporter. Congratulations, newlywed Mr. and Mrs. Farid Zarif. Thank you so much, Yolanda. I appreciate that. Let's see. We have Diva D Coach. Good morning and what up, though? Hello to you. Thank you so much for joining us here today. My Purpose Production on Instagram says, great day to all. You are, let me see, Black History Blessings. You are one of them, actually. That's what he's saying over here on Instagram. It was different. It was cut up. But thank you so much, My Purpose Production, for those comments. Thank you so much. All right, Dr. Zarif, I wanted to go ahead and give those shout outs. I know you're about to talk about the cons of GLP-1. So
Yeah, I also wanted to thank Michelle for her comments too, because she just reminded me of there was a time that people would have these different parties, and they would have these parties where they'll have, like, if they wanted bigger lips, they have whatever they were shooting in their lips. And I'm saying it like that because some people had these cocktails that they were putting in people's bodies, and they didn't, they're definitely disadvantageous. They're unhealthy. People have lost their limbs, their hands. People have lost their lives
yes.
because they've taken it, from the streets. And you have somebody that puts on a medical or lab coated or some scrubs, and then they're in so before you do that, make sure that you're working with somebody that is a specialist. This is what they do. Don't go there, don't go to a car mechanic asking them, can you come and fix my electrical problems at the house? It's a whole different thing. Make sure that you are making wise decisions with whom you are choosing to work with you. Okay, so
Exactly.
thank you for that. I also wanted to say Glenn Johnson is in the house over here on Instagram. Thank you, brother, for being here. My Purpose Production, and we have Alan is it Sismo or Sismore? More? Okay. Oh, hey, this is my cousin, Just Gray. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, brother? That's great. And thank you so much for being here. 313 in the house. Really appreciate you. So let's get back to it. If there isn't, is there anything else, Care, before I go?
No, I just showed the comment. So I know we with the time, you can go ahead and go on to the cons.
Okay, some of the cons here. Now, again, we just talked about the things that are working with you to help you lose the weight, but we haven't really talked about, the way that you can think about yourself, change the way that you define what and who you are, makes a really huge difference when it comes to the um, understanding of what you can do, where you can go, what you are, what you're living for, and eating, as Kara was saying, eating the right foods, exercising. You can do simple exercises right there in your home. You have sleep is super important, making you have deep sleep and making sure that it's uninterrupted as best as possible. And here you see the different phases, and then you community. Community is super important. You should have people that love to see you coming and can't wait to see you again when you after you leave. You want people that really care about life, people that care about families, people that are great when it comes to security. It's just really important to have these wonderful traits. And of course, eating healthy food. Now, on to the cons. Some of the cons of the GLP-1, the physiology, and the therapeutics. We start off with gastrointestinal adverse effects. And most common limitation would be nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, bloating. These are the effects that result in slowed gastric emptying and central satiety signaling. The mechanism basis for the GLP-1 receptor activation in the area of the postrema and the vagal pathways. So keep that in mind for those people that if you the whole vagal pathways and post prima is you might not even need that altogether when it's understanding, because some of the things you have to have years of understanding of chemistry and up on this, like you eat and breathe this stuff. But having enough information that if we've alerted you to the GLP-1 by itself, the other words and other knowledge that you'll accumulate as you continue to study this, that is also a benefit, making sure that you are getting the necessary information. But don't trip if it's just one of those situations that, I know what that meant, or is that said right, or if that all those kinds of things, because they're going to be I'd rather anything beats a zero. I'd rather talk about something that we're finding out more about together than to just leave it on the shelf and just say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to tackle that because I'm not sure. Do your due diligence to be sure. And when it comes to weight loss includes adipose tissue reduction. Remember, again, going back to the streets, when people will find out how they can get the drug. For those that may not qualify for the body mass index, all of that stuff, it comes down to insurance. Follow the money. Okay, I won't digress. Uh, the adipose tissue reduction beneficial is very good because that just simply means adipose tissue, adiposity. We're talking about fat and some skeletal muscle loss, which is problematic without the resistance training and adequate protein intake. So you can start on this, and you can change your eating appetite, and it can cause you to have a loss in muscle mass. And you've seen that before, where you'll see the person with the droopy arms and droopy thighs, droopy butt. All of those things are things that you want to uh, uh, keep in mind, because they can be something that you don't want to happen. This is particularly relevant in older adults and sarcopenic individuals. Sarcopenic, by the way, is are those people that hardly do anything. It's just almost like the old person's disease. They don't walk, they don't stretch, they don't do anything. And if they do anything, it's so minute and insignificant that it works against them instead of for them. Another kind would be the risk for gallbladder disease. Rapid weight loss increases the gallstone formation, observed increased incidence of different diseases that come along with obesity. And all of this is very important, because some people are big not because they feel healthier, but because they feel that they can get more attention. And that goes all the way when we talk about the gallbladder, the pancreas, also pancreatic or pancreatitis concerns. The data is actually mixed, while casual relationships remain debatable. The GLP-1 receptors are just present in pancreatic tissue, and some post-marketing surveillance reports raised concerns. And it raised concerns because you're still learning about what is the composition and the how efficacious the GLP-1 is. Patients with prior pancreatitis are monitored closely. And I think just a couple of more things to keep in mind is the cost and the accessibility. And then the GLP-1 does not address the root metabolic dysfunction alone. That's good to keep in mind, because there are many categories that we have to look at too, to find out more information. The glucose control or weight, the appetite, the cardiovascular effects, safety, and long term. What happens with these? Uh, well, I won't say that. I'll say what happens after a certain amount of time. Again, most people don't even know that time, because they're so desperate to take the GLP-1 that they'll go ahead and take it, and they'll start doing self-medication, doing what they think is good for themselves. And then we have a big problem on our hands. However, the GLP-1 therapy is fundamentally a physiological signal amplifier. It improves the metabolic regulation by enhancing the endogenous pathways that may already be impaired. Now, it does not independently correct the root environmental and behavior drivers of metabolic disease, such as the ultra processed food consumption. We talked about that. Dr. James talks about this very wonderfully. And the ultra processed food consumption is something that we're still struggling with, because we're eating things that we didn't prepare in the kitchen, but things that we're buying at the supermarkets, and maybe even in some cases in these fast food restaurants. And we're getting some of the food that can definitely be deleterious. We have it doesn't it doesn't independently correct the root environmental behavior drivers of the metabolic disease. But the ultra processed food consumption, we got to pay attention to that. It's not just something that we're saying just to say it. Then we have the chronic caloric excess, the circadian disruption. And you hear me talk about that circadian. I found it, the rhythmic ingestion. and I'll talk to you about that at another time. But all of this you'll see if you continue to follow, if you continue to study, you're going to see the stuff that I'm talking about now is going to come to pass later. People are going to wake up and say, wow, I have to eat, or I feel better and I'm healthier when I eat aligned with the day, the time that I get up and the time that I go to sleep. Who can argue with that? We also have, besides the circadian disruption, which is your sleep, or like insomnia, or just not only parainsomnia, but you have like the insomnia. When people are just night walking, and they have other disorders. This can change by, again, planning really putting together a great meal plan. Sedentary behavior can also cause the unwanted behavior. And then you have your micronutrient insufficiency, which is deprivation, or not having enough nutrition or nutrients put in your body. The gastrointestinal side effects are common, and the discontinuation often leads to a partial weight regain if foundational habits aren't not established. And that's what I was talking about before. And I think Michelle also made some very, very good points about the making wise decisions. Just because you can get it doesn't mean that you should just throw it in your body. Doctors are professionals, and these professionals that know about these particular things are these are very important. Now, again, maybe a back surgeon, somebody that is in kyphoplasty, won't know anything about someone that is in gastrointestinal problems, or gastrointestinal doctor. So remember, there are specialties there. Okay, we're almost there now. So I'm going to go back to the wonderful care and see if there are any other questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. No questions. Let me see here. Just well, there's a comment from Yolanda saying not taking nothing unnatural, especially the Ozempic, or whatever the new weight loss gimmick is going on. Whatever that is that's going on. She says she's not going to take it.
That's good. Because you have to, your dietary pattern is super important. Like dietary, when I say that, like the whole food plant-based dietary pattern, which comes with it's rich in fiber. It has phytonutrients. Phyto, remember, that just means plants. Phytonutrients. And then you have antioxidants. That's the protection against a lot of wear and tear from free radicals. And then you have intact carbohydrates. You have the carbohydrates are the best food group in which you get your energy from. That's the easy way for you to understand the carbohydrates. And there are different types of carbohydrates, and there are different ways that it's processed. Also, unsaturated fats naturally enhances the insulin sensitivity and improves the gut microbiome diversity. It reduces the systemic inflammation and supports the endothelial function. Now, there are high dietary fiber intake also augments the endogenous GLP-1 secretion through short chain fatty acid production by the colonic microbiota. And you will hear us talk about microbiota when we're talking about gut health a lot. And that's creating a synergistic effect between nutrition and hormonal signaling. So I know that we got a lot of this stuff to go through, but thank you very much for listening. Remember, before you put it in your house, because it will end up in your mouth, and before you eat anything, or you start to take anything that you think that will help you, make sure you check with your team. I know some people, I ain't got to go to a doctor. Those are the same people that we end up sitting on the side of a bed at wondering when the visiting hours are up. And now it interrupts your whole life when people don't take care of themselves. The people that we love that don't take care of themselves, who gonna take care of them? People they love, right? And those people, they don't, especially the ones that feel like that's not their purpose. They didn't come here to the planet to take care of people, of sick ones. But there's difference between a person that is ill and can't do anything about it than a person that is ill and they kind of negated the responsibility of taking care of themselves. Thanks for listening. We're going to go to care and then we're going to check out.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. And again, thank you everyone to join us here in the Mind of Nature. We appreciate every like, share, and we actually, Dr. Zarif, on YouTube hit 1K subscribers. Woohoo!
Whoa!
That's a great milestone.
Thank you,
We
everybody.
need to do that, and we could not do it without you. So you all. So thank you all so much. We are live every Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So thank you all so much again. Dr. Zarif, back to you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate you being here. We're going to be here every Saturday at 8 a.m. and that's PST. Look, I want to leave you with this, that everything that is happening to you is happening for you, but you have to make your own decisions. Make sure that you have the community that is supportive. Make sure you're getting uninterrupted sleep, a peace of mind, and make sure that you exercise some kind of movement. Anything beats a zero. And when you eat good. Eat like the best food that you can. Don't wait for the holidays to get a solid meal. Do that every single day. Make a way for it to happen. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.